From New York's Waldorf Astoria, I'm Ellie Kohanim with JBS, here at the Friends of IDF Gala, where their motto is, their job is to look after Israel, ours is to look after them. And of course, what they're referring to is the brave young men and women who serve in Israel's defense forces. Please join me for what promises to be a great event. I'm here with Monica Crowley, beloved television personality and MC of the FIDF Gala. Monica, you know what? I just have to tell you, all 1,200 people who are here love you. Tell me why you MC this event.
Well, first of all, thank you for the huge compliment. For me, this is such a labor of love. This is actually my 12th year emceeing the Friends of the IDF National Gala here in New York, and I do it every year because of my deep and profound and abiding love for the state of Israel and the Jewish people. I just feel like I look forward to this every year because we're in this huge ballroom at the Waldorf Astoria. And I was just saying that the first year I did it, the ballroom seemed so huge and overwhelming. But as soon as you get on that stage, you immediately feel the love in the room for everybody in the room, for our soldiers fighting on behalf of the state of Israel, for democracy, for freedom, for Israel being on the front lines of freedom in a sea of tyranny and terrorism and despotism. You immediately feel the love in the room for the state of Israel and the Jewish people. And suddenly this huge room feels so much smaller. That's why I do it. I do it for the soldiers, I do it for democracy, I do it for my love of the Jewish people.
Monica, that is just incredible to hear. Have you been to Israel yourself? And tell me your thoughts.
I have. I've been to Israel many times, but not in the last 6 years, so I think it's time for me to come back and make another trip. I find Israel absolutely breathtaking as a country. And to me, it's such a profound country on so many different levels, because of course you have the immediate and urgent concerns of the Palestinians, the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, Hezbollah. Israel is literally swarmed on all sides by terrorists and enemies of the state. And further away now, you have ISIS, which is a little more distant, but is still an equally deadly threat to the state of Israel. And of course, the biggest threat of them all, which is the existential threat of Iran. So when you go to Israel, of course, you feel those contemporary geopolitical pressures, but you also feel a deep spiritual moving in yourself. It's such a deeply spiritual place. Christian, Jew, when you go to the state of Israel, at least for me, I experience the state of Israel on a deeply spiritual plane.
Monica, you know what, every time I get off the plane in Israel, I feel the same way. One of the things I think Israelis feel in partnership with America is our shared belief in democracy and civil society and those kinds of democratic values. What are your thoughts on that, and what do you think our audience should understand about Israel?
This is one of the most critically important parts of understanding why the United States has been such a strong ally for the state of Israel and vice versa. It's because of those common and shared values of civil society, democracy, having the people have representative government so that they have a voice in how they are governed, decency, the rule of law, institutions that are responsive to the people. That's what we share with Israel, and vice versa. And this is why for 60 years we have been so close. And we know that the relationship has gone through some difficult times, continues to go through some difficult times, but this is a relationship that will endure for as long as we can see, because Israel is on the front lines. If Israel goes down, the West goes down and the United States goes down. That's why Israel must have an absolute and total commitment from the United States that it will always survive and that the U.S. will see to that.
With friends like Monica Crowley, I think Israel is definitely safe. So Monica, I heard you say you haven't been to Israel in 6 years now. I want to invite you to come with me. You name it, I will be there with you in Israel, Monica. Please join us.
Done. Can you imagine the two of us tearing up Israel together? Israel will never be the same after that. Thank you, I'd love to.
All right, I'm going to make this happen. So Monica Crowley, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you with us on JBS. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. It's all mine. Thank you so much. God bless.
I'm here with Ambassador Danny Ayalon. Ambassador Ayalon, we're here at the IDF Gala with 1,200 people, all in support of Israel and the Israel Defense Forces. How do you feel when you see this room?
It's very inspiring. It's really heartwarming. We have to remember the IDF is the best insurance policy we have, not just for the well-being and the security of the people of Israel, but Jews all over the world. So the great support we see here from the Jewish community and also the non-Jewish community is something which really is another foundation for the great relationship and alliance between Israel and the United States.
Ambassador Ayalon, so if I hear you correctly, you're making the case that the Israeli army is the army of the Jewish people worldwide. But you know, recently the Prime Minister got into some hot water for suggesting that Jews from France and Copenhagen move to Israel. What are your thoughts on that?
I think the stakes are too high, and it's not the time for political correctness. The Jews are in danger in Europe. I don't think anybody with his right mind would not have urged the Jews in the 30s, last century, to stay in Europe. So I think the Prime Minister was correct in doing that. I believe there are only two places where the Jews can be safe today. It's in North America and in Israel.
Ambassador Ayalon, it's always an honor and a pleasure to have you with us on JBS. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm here with Neely Falik, who's the national chairman of the Friends of IDF board in the U.S. and Panama. Neely, that sounds very exotic. Where are you from originally, Neely?
I am a native Israeli, seventh generation Israeli. I was born in Israel, and what can I tell you? I'm half Sephardic, half Ashkenazic, so I have the best of two worlds.
Neely, I've been attending this event for a few years now and have had the pleasure of interviewing you in the past. Tell us a little bit about why you're so involved with FIDF, because I think you give your heart and soul to this organization.
Well, I feel that each soldier, men, women in uniform of the Friends of the IDF are actually our children. They are they are the guardians of the Israeli country, the people, and the Jewish people at large. Their job is to look after Israel. Ours is to look after them. And I feel compelled that the least we could do is support their humanitarian needs. They have many humanitarian needs that we support in sports and culture, education, and so on and so forth. And they put their lives at risk. They give all they have for their country, for our homeland, Israel, for the Jewish people at large, and they deserve to know that we have their back. They are not alone, and we are there doing our drop in the sea for them.
Neely, you know, when unfortunately there have been these horrible attacks on Jewish communities in France and in Copenhagen, the Israeli Prime Minister offered to those Jewish communities to move to Israel whenever they want. Is it your belief that Israel is the homeland for all Jews and that the Israeli army is there to defend all Jews everywhere?
Of course, you know, the Friends of the IDF is apolitical. We do not speak politics. We belong to every Jew in the social sphere, Orthodox, conservative, Reform, observant, secular. So, but we all feel that Israel, of course, has been given to us 4,000 years ago as a Jewish homeland. And we feel that since 1948, which was a miracle of the reestablishment of the State of Israel, the gates were open again. We know that during World War II, the gates were closed, including every country that I can think of, including the St. Louis, who arrived to Miami, was returned to the European shores. And many of them did not make it even back. But as soon as Israel was independent, Israel opened her gates to every and all Jews who wished to go and live there.
Well, I think that we're all very grateful for the existence of the State of Israel. Neely, I have one final question for you. As a woman philanthropist, what's your advice to other women who are either seeking to enter the world of philanthropy or want to make a big difference with their charity?
I think that any charity is very important, and every woman as well as a man today in our society, we have equality, should, and probably many do, support the charity of her likes. Of course, we would love it to be for the soldiers because it's a natural for a woman to be the mother, the aunt, the grandmother of our soldiers. So I would love to have as many women, philanthropists, activists, join our ranks and come aboard and support together with us our children, our IDF men and women in uniform who do so much for all of us.
All right, well, you heard it here first. Neely Falek calling on all women to join us in supporting the IDF. Neely Falek, thank you so much for your interview here on JBS.
Thank you. You've been very gracious. Thank you so much.
I'm here with Arthur Stark, who's National Chairman of the Friends of IDF Board. Arthur, every year this gala seems to grow and grow. I don't know how it's possible, but how are you feeling tonight?
Really excited. It's really a tremendous turnout, as usual. People really can connect to the soldiers of Israel, and they understand that without the strong IDF and without the sacrifices that these young, brave men and women make, we wouldn't have a state of Israel. So thank God for them, and thank God for all the supporters who are behind them.
What has the FIDF had to do in response, in the aftermath of the operation in Gaza?
Yeah, well, FIDF was right there on the front lines providing care packages and special needs to the soldiers during the operation, helping wounded soldiers, unfortunately, after the operation, and continuing to support the soldiers with educational programs and well-being programs to help build their morale and let them know that they're fighting not just for their neighbors and for their fellow Israeli citizens, but for all Jews all over the world, and in many ways as the cutting edge of the Western world's fight against Islamist fundamentalism.
Arthur, what is the greatest need right now for Israeli soldiers?
The Israeli soldiers really are tremendously well taken care of in reality. However, it's difficult for them because they make a sacrifice. During the years when our children, most of our children, are going to universities, so all my own children are in the IDF, have been, but when they're going to college and building careers and so forth, the young Israeli soldier is taking time out in order to serve his country and to serve the Jewish people around the world, and making tremendous sacrifices. So our place is to help not only build the morale while they're in the Army, and not only to give them some levels of comfort while they're in the Army, but when they finish, to help them with education. And we funded tremendous amount of college scholarships for soldiers who did their combat service who otherwise would not be able to go to university. And today we've got many thousands who have either graduated or are currently in those kinds of programs.
Fabulous. And Arthur, I've come to this gala many years in a row, and I've seen pictures of your sons too, right, who've served in the IDF.
Yes.
What's that experience been like for them and for you as their dad?
Well, as a parent, it's not so easy, frankly, especially for my wife, but as well for me. However, it's an experience which, they chose to do. We learned to be awed by their level of commitment and their willingness to take on such difficult and dangerous tasks. And it's really changed them for the better, and it's really taught them some life lessons that they really probably could not get anywhere else.
All right, well, Arthur Stark, chairman of the board, and someone who's actually had his own children enlist in the Army, and I think really has given everything that you possibly could to support the state of Israel. Thank you so much for joining us on JBS.
Thank you so much.
I'm here with Michal Ansky, the most beautiful judge, I'm guessing, on Israel's MasterChef program. Michal, tell me a little bit about how you got into cooking and your work as a chef.
Well, I'm proud to say that I founded a farmers market in Israel. We have approximately 9 markets operating in different countries, in different cities in Israel, and the indoor market in the port of Tel Aviv. I'm opening a restaurant, and we have several of businesses operating in lifestyle and in the food business in Israel.
Michal, lately I feel like I've been reading a lot in the press about the Israeli restaurant scene and how much it's changed and flourished and grown. What is the newest trend there?
Oh, actually the newest trend in America, I believe, in New York, is kosher food. I'm announcing that we're going to open a kosher market in the heart of Manhattan, in the Upper West Side and also in Midtown. 2 markets are going to be completely kosher, but it's not for Jews alone. It's also for Muslims, for everyone who's choosing to have a better lifestyle, because I believe that the kosher restrictions contain a sane alternative to this unhealthy lifestyle we all living here in the 24/7 all-you-can-eat industry.
All right, Michal, what is the name of this new...
The new kosher market.
The new kosher market, and when will it be opening?
And this year, by the end of 2015.
Okay, well, you heard it here first. The new kosher market in New York's Upper West Side, and we are looking forward to shopping there.
Thank you. I hope you like to eat. It's going to be good food. Thank you.
I'm here with Major General Meir Cliffy Amir, who is the new National Executive Director and CEO of the Friends of IDF. Cliffy is what everybody calls you, is that right?
Yes, you are right.
So Cliffy,
That's my name.
Cliffy, this is an incredible event. We've covered your event every year now for the past 12 years, but now you've grown to 1,200 people. Tell me, what more do you want to do for the IDF, and what's your vision for the FIDF?
You know, my vision to the FIDF is to grow year by year. The people that support Israel and support the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, our brave men and women that protect our country, but they are not protect only our country, they protect the Jews all over the world. Because that in my experience, I know that without them, Israel cannot exist. And without Israel, the Jews all over the world cannot live their life as they do it now.
Cliffy, I gather that you've served in the IDF yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I served in the IDF. I served my country 33 years. I started as a young paratrooper, and I served in the paratrooper brigade 18 years. After that, I promoted and I lead 2 divisions in the IDF. After that, I became to be the deputy chief of the Ground Force Command. And at the end of my roles, I was the security advisor to the 2 last prime ministers in Israel, Ehud Olmert and Benjamin Netanyahu.
Wow, sounds quite impressive. So Cliffy, what are the needs of Israeli soldiers, and what is it that FIDF is providing them that they don't have right now?
You know, we take care about all the well-being needs of the brave men and women that serve in the IDF. We take care about the education. Every year we send more than 1,000 people that complete their service in Israel, and they get a scholarship to study in the universities in Israel. Most of them come from low-level socioeconomic situation, and you know, we gave them the only chance to reach those kind of high education in the Israeli university and college. We take care also of all the well-being, other things in the IDF. We build, you know, infrastructure of clubs, other auditoriums. Now we are the biggest organization that build all those things in new campus that they start build in the Negev in Israel for all those soldiers that they will move from the middle of Israel to the south of Israel, to the Negev. And you know, at the end of the day, we try to do the best to change the life of so many soldiers that serve in the Israeli army.
Wonderful. And Cliff, you know, the other thing that we hear a lot about the Israeli army is the role that the army plays in integrating immigrants into society. And how exactly does the army do that?
You know, we are the melting point, as the Ben-Gurion said when we create our new country in Israel. We get a lot of immigration from all over the world, Jews and non-Jews. Most of them came to serve, joined the Israeli army to make their duty to serve the country. And when they come to the Israeli army, everyone is the same. Men, women, Jews, non-Jews, all of them, they are the same. They have, you know, the same privilege, the same rule, and they act together to achieve their goals as the, every army need to achieve his goals in his duty. So when they come to the Israeli army, they become as a one, as a unit, and they serve, then they support each other, and because of that, we have these kind of soldiers, this kind of army, and this kind of country in Israel.
It's fabulous, and I just want to wish you much hatzlacha in your new role at the FIDF. All of us at JBS are behind you, and we look forward to continuing to cover your events, and hopefully we'll have you in the studio for a full-scale interview. Hatzlacha Rabba, and thank you for joining us on JBS.
Thank you so much.
I'm here with Major Amos Derby. Major Derby, can you tell us a little bit about what your duties are in the IDF?
Yeah, hello. I'm the Deputy Commander of the Iron Dome Battalion of the IDF. My job is to protect all the city of Israel against a missile threat from everywhere we need, in the south or in the north. We spread our batteries, the Iron Dome batteries, across the country and protect the city of Israel.
How much is Iron Dome dependent on U.S. support and the U.S. government giving Israel that technology or the funding for the technology?
Well, Iron Dome is Israel made. They made all the system in Israel, but the foundation is from the U.S. We have actually a lot of U.S. government people that come to visit us and to see the result. I think the buying all the batteries, and we need a lot of more batteries. The foundation that we get from the USA helps us to buy more Iron Dome batteries, so we will be able to manage to succeed in the next event in the north or in the south.
Major Derby, it's really an honor to have you with us here on JBS. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm here with First Lieutenant Noam Maoz. It's really, for me, an empowering experience just to meet women who serve in the Israeli army. But can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now in the army?
Well, first of all, I serve in combat. We go through 8 months of training. I serve in an infantry unit, actually the first company in this new infantry battalion that has both male and female combat soldiers. And I'm the deputy commander of that company. We go through 8 months of training. We do the same things as the male soldiers do, carry the same weights and walk the same distances, and we guard the same places, and that's about it. Right now we're forming up this battalion, and this is the first company, and it's very interesting.
So I was always under the impression that women have been serving in the Israeli army really since the founding of this state. What is it that's different in this new company that you're creating? It's just that the training is exactly the same as the men? That's different. That's unique for our unit. There's also a few other units that accept female combat soldiers, but our unit has 50-50%. Like that's, we have half boys and half girls. Also, in the past years, at the beginning of the state of Israel, and once the army was founded, women only served at specific positions and weren't allowed to serve in combat. And in the past, I think 15 years, women had been getting into combat jobs and special positions, and we're just adding up more positions for female combat soldiers, which is great. Well, it's another reason for us to be very proud of the state of Israel. So tell me, as a woman, though, thinking about possibly being in combat situations, and what are some of I mean, do you have any fears or anything that you think about when you think of that?
Actually, I do, but I grew up in a small kibbutz half a mile away from the Gaza Strip, so I've been always surrounded by soldiers and people that all they do is sacrifice their life to take care of me, so I could live my life just as I want to. And so I've always wanted to be able to do the same and just be able to sacrifice my life so the citizens of Israel could live their lives as they want.
Sounds incredible. What's your experience been like in the army as a woman?
I've been serving along the Egyptian border, and it's pretty quiet there. There are a lot of things that happen every once in a while. It's not as dangerous as different borders of Israel. So we've had a few times that were more dangerous, and most of the time it's just patrolling and going on special missions to make sure the border stays a quiet place and safe place.
And I'm just curious, what's your expectation as you leave the army, or you look towards, when you'll be leaving the army, in terms of how Israeli society will be looking at you as a woman?
I don't think they would look at us this in different ways. We're all expected to serve in the army, and I hope and I want to say that each of us and every one of us just finds their right position and the right place to contribute as much as they could to the army. And I'm not different in any way because I'm in combat. I'm just doing my mission, and I found my place that I could contribute the most, and that's where I am.
Fabulous. Well, it's really our honor and pleasure to have you on JBS. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you so much. So nice being here.
I'm here with Howard Gazis, who's the director of the New Jersey chapter of the Friends of IDF. Howard, this gala seems to grow year after year. How are you guys doing?
Well, it's simple. It's really the people that come to this event and support the IDF through the FIDF. They want to be here because they have a passion for the soldiers and the programs that the FIDF runs to help support the soldiers. So it's really not a difficult sell. We promote it, we work hard on it, but the people are committed to really supporting the IDF, and that's why it makes our life easy, and they come here and they enjoy it.
Tell me a little bit about the New Jersey chapter and what do you guys do there?
The New Jersey chapter was founded by former lone soldiers. In fact, we're known as the lone soldier state. Much of the money that we raise goes to support programs of the lone soldiers. And we have a devoted committee. We have a gala every November that raises approximately $1 million to go to programs of the IDF supported by the FIDF. Wonderful people from New Jersey, and we continue to grow and work together to support the IDF.
Howard, can you tell our viewers a little bit about lone soldiers and what that experience is like?
Lone soldiers are soldiers in the IDF that have no families living in Israel. So we support them through various means, programs, 24-hour call centers. They're entitled through the FIDF to fly at least one time during their military service to visit their families. In fact, recently there were approximately 1,800 lone soldiers in Operation Protective Edge, and we're in the process of flying them back again to visit their families. And they are very committed. This is their way of supporting Israel, and we support them.
That's incredible. 1,800 soldiers from all across the world.
Correct. That have no families in Israel, but they're committed to helping the IDF and helping the state of Israel.
Right. Howard Gazis, thank you for joining us on JBS.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And the conversations at the FIDF Gala are always so inspiring to me. I hope you enjoyed, and please join us for the formal program beginning now.
A political and foreign affairs analyst for Fox News, she is also an editor and columnist with the Washington Times and a New York Times best-selling author. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a true friend of the IDF, our MC for this evening, Dr. Monica Crowley.
Hi, everybody. Are we ready to get this party started tonight? Yes, we are. Thank you so much, and shalom. I am so thrilled to be here with you once again tonight. This is the 12th time, believe it or not, that I have been privileged to host this remarkable evening. And as I say every year, it's a true labor of love for me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, we have a very full agenda tonight, so without further ado, let's begin the festivities. With us tonight, representing the Armed Forces of the United States of America, we are so privileged to have the New York City Recruiting Battalion Color Guard. And presenting the flag of the State of Israel, we are also honored to have with us tonight Major Efrat, Major R, Lieutenant Rona, and Lieutenant Yaniv. As Prime Minister Netanyahu recently said so eloquently in his address to Congress, America and Israel share a common destiny, the destiny of promised lands that cherish freedom and offer hope. Hatikva will be sung tonight by Private Nitzan Ophir, followed by the Star Spangled Banner, to be sung by Rabbi Jonathan Morgenstern.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we'd held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed, if you came in through the Park Avenue entrance, we have protesters against us here tonight, which means tonight's already a success. Tonight, we are also so privileged to welcome Rabbi Peter Weintraub as our new dinner chairman. An avid FIDF supporter for more than a decade and a member of the National Board, Rabbi Weintraub has spoken out with consistency and clarity about Israel and our mandate as American Jews to support her. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to my new friend, Rabbi Peter Weintraub.
Thank you. It's good to pack the house with friends, I'll tell you. Thank you, Monica. Good evening, dear friends, and welcome. What an incredible energy and excitement permeates this ballroom tonight. And for good reason, for we are gathered to support the brave, dedicated, devoted, and spirited young men and women of the IDF. Friends, I am honored to single out two devoted, passionate, and game-changing FIDF innovators. The first, Major General Reserve Yitzhak Jerry Gershon. Jerry completed 6 outstanding years of service to FIDF as National Director and CEO, a true Acharai, follow-me leader. Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Gershon. And I would also like to spotlight our retiring National Chairman, Neely Falik. Neely, you are what we call a lo yanum, the lo yishan individual, a guardian of Israel who never tires, never rests. Friends, join me in saluting the one and only Neely Falik. Tonight, however, is not about us. Rather, it is about the incredible soldiers of the IDF. We have come here this evening to show our solidarity and share our love for them. We are here above all to send a simple, one-word message, Todah. Thank you. Thank you for internalizing the words, Am HaNetzach Lo Mifached Mederech Aruka. The eternal people does not fear the long road. For you, our beloved IDF, march on that long road every day. Without your skill, your bravery, and your diligence, it would be hard to imagine what Jewish life anywhere in the world would be like today.
I was finishing my service in Combat Engineering Corps, and my dream was to work in government service. I want to keep helping the State of Israel. My battalion commander told me if that's what you want, then you need a degree from IDC. My father is on disability. There was no way we could afford it. Then he told me about FIDF scholarship programs. My whole family was passing around the house for a month. We waited to hear if I would go to college. Finally, FIDF called back. Since that day, I've tried to understand why would someone halfway around the world do something like this for me, a stranger?
Well, technically, we may have been strangers, but that is not how I saw it. As a boy, I remember looking out my window. There were riots in the streets, looting, chaos. The Shah was gone. The mullahs were in charge. It was no longer safe for Jews in Persia. Israel was the only place that will take us, and I will never forget it. We live in America now, but we can only be safe if there is a strong Israel defended by soldiers like you. So, you are part of my family, and we want you to have the college education you deserve.
As a lone soldier, I didn't have my family here. Knowing there are people everywhere who care about us, it really makes a difference. A soldier's life is demanding, physically and emotionally. In the IDF, we know there is no margin for error. That sense of responsibility was weighing on me as I left for a mission unlike any I had ever been a part of. There we were in Poland, along with officers from all the branches of the IDF. Each of us was a witness in uniform.
After 70 years, the memories are still vivid. The burning bodies, the red sky, the despair. I had vowed never to go back. But when the FIDF came to me and asked me to tell my story to the young, brave defenders of Israel, how could I say no?
Seeing what happened, hearing how you survived, clarified for me what it really means to have a Jewish homeland. I went back to my post with a new sense of purpose.
What you do every day in the IDF restores some of the dignity that was stripped away from me in those camps. You are my heroes. So I'm thrilled to support programs that help Israeli soldiers learn about our heritage and to understand what can happen if anti-Semitism goes unchecked.
Anti-Semitism hit home to us in South America as well. I had finished medical school in Buenos Aires when terrorists set off a bomb at the Jewish Community Center. 85 people were killed and more than 100 were injured. For me, Israel is a place to be proud of. A miracle of a country. And each soldier makes that miracle possible.
I come from a poor neighborhood in Lod. My father ran a soup kitchen there. When he died, my family relied on me for support. But I wanted to serve my country as a combat soldier. The FIDF stepped in to make sure that my family has everything it needed. And thanks to them, I could be a good son and a soldier. Now, as a commander, I know that when my soldiers need something beyond the Army basics, we can rely on the FIDF.
Over in the US, we feel it's the least that we can do. As soldiers, you sacrifice so much.
We couldn't do it without you. Thank you.
That's what family is for.
Emily, there are no words.
Hey, your job is to look after Israel.
Our job is to look after you.
This, for me, is priceless.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the midst of an even more hectic schedule than usual, including his recent trip to Washington and the upcoming elections, we are honored that Prime Minister Netanyahu has taken the time to share his thoughts on why now, more than ever, Israel and the FIDF need our support.
I want to thank you all, friends of the IDF, friends of the Israeli army. There is no better cause. There isn't a cause of greater importance, because the state of Israel lives on its ability to defend itself. That's the great change that has happened in the history of our people. The difference in our modern history is that we have fashioned a state in our own capacity to resist these aggressions and to ward them off with our own fighting men and women. They deserve all the support that you can give. We've seen in the last year alone how Iran is extending its aggression throughout the region. And the thing that stands between our people's fate in the past and our ability to forge a secure future is the IDF. You are supporting the IDF. You should be congratulated for securing the Jewish future. Thank you on behalf of the people of Israel and on behalf of the state of Israel.
Once again, I would like to thank Prime Minister Netanyahu for taking the time to share his insights with us. With even more uncertainty than ever surrounding all of Israel's borders, and with its enemies becoming even more sophisticated, the need for superior intelligence regarding these threats has never been greater. That's why tonight I am honored to introduce the IDF's new Chief of Military Intelligence to speak with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Major General Herzi Halevi.
honored guests, good evening. I'm privileged to be here tonight. Even though I personally know just a few of you, somehow I feel among very good friends. David Ben-Gurion, our first prime minister, said in 1956, in Israel, in order to be a realist, you must believe in miracles. Well, I admire Ben-Gurion, but as a commander in the IDF, I can tell you that much. We cannot rely on miracles. And the reason I stand grateful in front of you tonight is that your support is essential and so very important. It helps us not depend on miracles. Israel was founded 67 years ago out of the storm of war mixed with a deep hope for peace, hope that unfortunately is not to be fulfilled in the near future. Still, Israel has been making an amazing progress. The economy is thriving, high-tech is booming. Many people would tell you they can think of no better place to live in. But the situation around us is deteriorating rapidly. Israel is indeed a villa in the jungle, more than ever before. Let me take you to a short tour of the jungle just to get a sense of it. Syria has long ceased to be the state we all knew 4 years ago. We call it 50 Shades of Black, though I must admit I haven't read the gray version. One needs to take only a glimpse at their inner executions to understand why we must be prepared in the northern border. The maps of our area have been changing in front of our eyes. Borders drawn more than a century ago are being recklessly erased. The upheaval in the Middle East has turned into a religious struggle among armed factions. We have been carefully watching fragmentation of the nation-state notion in the Middle East, and we have been preparing ourselves to cope with a variety of extremely crude organizations that gradually take the lead. Iran leads the headlines, but Iran is not only a nuclear project. It has been gaining more and more power and influence and has been positioning itself as a regional superpower whose proxies surround the state of Israel. This is the neighborhood we live in, and when you reside in a beautiful house located in such a complex area, it is a good enough reason to protect yourself. Militaries used to be treated as stiff and unadaptable organizations. The pace of change in our area, along with the level of uncertainty, makes an immense challenge for the Israeli Defense Intelligence. We constantly have to reinvent ourselves time and again in order to watch numerous organizations with unexpected modus operandi, but with a stable, dangerous intention towards Israel. As an intelligence entity, we cannot predict every incident, but we do the best to strive for that. Thanks to our young and talented soldiers and officers, we work to recognize turnabouts and trends. 6 years ago, I was the paratroopers brigade commander under the command of the General Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Gabi Ashkenazi, who is with us tonight. Back then, it was the Operation Cast Lead in Gaza, where we met the underground infrastructure seeds, IEDs, and rockets. History does not repeat itself, but it rhymes, wrote Mark Twain. During last summer, we have experienced, once again, another round of confrontation with the Hamas in Gaza in what we called the Protective Edge operation. We saw again that there are many sorts of wars, but there isn't a simple one. The meaning of that asymmetric challenge is that being strong, being much more professional, and holding high moral code standards do not deliver the achievement easily. When you hold your fire in front of a hospital where Hamas located rockets, you endanger your civilians and your troops. When you do apply fire, You endanger your international legitimacy. No easy way out. We are truly blessed with wonderful commanders and soldiers. Some of them are here today. I'm proud to be part of them. Despite these obstacles, they excelled in the battlefield last summer. A military commander lives in a constant conflict, as every person who prepares oneself to a very demanding process ahead, one wants to be tested. This is pure curiosity. The real test for a soldier is the battlefield. Even so, when the sounds and sights of war are near, we should remember it is the last resort to take. This insight echoes when you meet bereaved families of your friends killed in action. As a state, an army, and as commanders, we do not want wars, but when we have to protect our country, this is the turn of the tide. We will fight with the most decisive intention to win, with pride of people who had the privilege to protect their own country. The Israeli intelligence is facing a huge challenge: to seek for intelligence that would prevent war as much as to obtain the intelligence to win such a war when it occurs. The best asset of the IDF is our amazing soldiers. Had we brought all of them here, they would have gotten a boost of motivation. But I'm sure they feel it. They know they have your hearts and minds. If I may share here with you our new Chief of General Staff, Lieutenant General Gadi Eisenkot's vision to be able to grant every soldier the ability to study in one of the Israel's universities right after their army service. We owe them that much. I came to New York today straight out of a squeezed schedule in Washington, D.C. Standing here now in front of you, wonderful people, feeling the warmness that probably hits the Israeli shore by now, makes me very happy to be here tonight. New York is a city of skyscrapers, very impressive ones, but one cannot get here without crossing a bridge. I find bridges much more impressive than skyscrapers. The recent report of tension between our governments only indicates crucial decisions that lay ahead. This evening is a wonderful bridge to strengthen ties, especially when it crosses over troubled water. And on that note, I wish to leave you tonight with a short story, once written by Amos Oz, one of Israel's greatest writers. He wrote of a conversation between an Israeli and a tourist who comes to visit. "Why did you Jews all come to Israel?" asks the tourist, and the Israeli replies, "We came here to forget." "Forget what?" asks the tourist, and the Israeli says, "I forgot." I did not forget, my friends, and I know that neither did you. We came to build a home for the Jewish people, and we did. Our job now is to protect it, to make it a better and safer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, General Halevi. You got off the podium a little bit too quickly, but really, on behalf of all of us, thank you so much. Israel engaged in a 50-day military operation in Gaza called Suk Eitan, or Operation Protective Edge. In a series of special ceremonies over the past few weeks, the IDF leadership has bestowed the Tzalash, Siyun LaShevach, Citation of Merit for valor, for distinguished service, to 53 soldiers who fought in that operation. We tonight are honored to have 8 of them with us here. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the true guests of honor, the heroes of Operation Protective Edge.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Dr. Regina of the Yahalom Unit, Captain Ori of the Israel Navy, Captain Elishema of the Golani Brigade, Lieutenant Yaniv of the Nachal Brigade, Lieutenant Tal of the Armored Corps, Lieutenant Yaniv of the Givati Brigade, Lieutenant Dr. Nir of the Nachal Brigade, and Lone Soldier First Sergeant Sahar of the Givati Brigade. Ladies and gentlemen, the heroes of Protective Edge.
What we want to do in this short time is share with you a flavor of the many challenges and how these heroes overcame them. The main narrative of Operation Protective Edge revolves around Hamas's extensive network of terror tunnels. In a roundabout way, that's the ultimate complement to the effectiveness of Iron Dome, Israel's amazing short-range anti-missile defense system. Hamas tried to overwhelm Iron Dome by firing hundreds of rockets at one time. That tactic happily did not work. With its Red Alert system that you can now amazingly download as an app on your smartphone, Israel and her citizens defied an onslaught of more than 3,300 rockets. This massive life-saving achievement earned the Iron Dome a battalion-wide Salash citation. And tonight, we are so honored to have with us the Deputy Battalion Commander of Iron Dome Battalion 947, Major Mos. God bless you, sir. In addition to its failed attempts to rain terror from the sky, Hamas also tried to smuggle in terror from the sea. On July 8th, IDF spotters covering the Israeli shoreline north of Gaza, near the town of Zakim, detected Hamas frogmen coming out of the ocean and immediately raised the alarm. First to respond was Naval Captain Ori, one of our Salash recipients. He and his crew managed to pin down the terrorists until reinforcements arrived in the form of IDF tanks. When the Hamas operatives tried to double back toward the sea, Captain Ori ordered his gunners to shoot. They killed 2 of the infiltrating terrorists, and the tanks took care of the other 2. We are absolutely so honored tonight to have Captain Ori with us in the room. Welcome, sir. Welcome to New York, sir. Can you tell us what was going through your mind as all of this was happening?
So, I have only one thing on my mind, and that was to get the job done. It was a really strange feeling to shoot on the Israeli territory for the first time, and I hope the last time. But thanks God, the work was done, and we were able to do that.
If you can, Captain Ori, can you give us a sense of some of the ways that Israel's Navy protects the shoreline?
Let's just say that's the ships that you see patrolling the Israeli coastline 24/7 are just the tip of the iceberg. Ironically, the Israeli Navy was in the middle of installing a new sonar detection dive system that could find exactly that kind of attack. I'm happy to tell you that that system is today work and is placed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Captain Uri, everyone, thank you. God bless you, sir. Keep up the good work. Well, rockets falling from the sky, frogmen attacking from the sea, all of that paled in comparison to the specter of armed terrorists springing from beneath the earth. Hamas's elaborate tunnel system, ironically built with the cement Israel allowed into Gaza for humanitarian purposes, was the stuff of nightmares for citizens living near the border.
הוא היה בשדה, עבד, פתאום ראה משהו שלא נראה לו. אני אומרת, תראה, אתה רואה? אנחנו לא רואים שום דבר. תראה, פה צריך לבדוק. באמצע השדה. באו, בדקו, מנהרה. בתוך השדות שלנו, בתוך השדות שלנו.
In most cases, the IDF was able to intervene and neutralize Hamas before they could do any damage. But unfortunately, as you can see by this painful to watch Hamas propaganda video, there was at least one occasion where they succeeded near Nahal Oz. Right now, you are looking live inside a sister terror tunnel to the one you just saw in that very disturbing video. This view that you're seeing now is what would be transmitted through the lens of an IDF combat robot. Robots such as the Talon 4, which the soldiers call RoboCop, they're used to search and clear dangerous combat environments, such as the tunnels that you've seen, saving soldiers' lives. Should a robot encounter a Hamas operative, it's armed with a Glock and does all sorts of other cool things that we really can't tell you about here tonight. We're going to be going back out to the Israeli-Gaza border in just a few moments. But first, I'd like you to meet a commander from combat engineering whose job this summer was to locate and destroy those tunnels. Please welcome Captain Sneer. Captain Sneer, welcome. Great to have you in New York. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you all. You were right, I am a soldier in the Israeli army, but I'm also a student, and thanks to all of you, I got my Impact Scholarship. And you were right about the summer.
Tell us about that summer.
Well, in the beginning of the operation, my battalion commander called me and he told me, we need you. So I called my team, we left everything at home. I was in the middle of the final exam, so we dropped it and we joined the operation.
Tell us, if you could, describe to us what you and your team needed to do.
Well, our main mission was to destroy the terror tunnel between Gaza Strip and Israel.
How did your team accomplish that?
Well, Hamas didn't make it easy for us. They built the tunnels from kindergarten. They were pretty long, more than 2 kilometers. And they split the tunnels. They didn't build it on a straight line. So our mission was to destroy it, but to destroy it, you need to figure out where does it go. So.
Now, keep in mind that Captain Sneer and his team, you're all doing this in Gaza, so you were encountering enemy fire, right?
Yes, we did. Most of the time, we were in the middle of the combats, and they shot rockets on our force. One time, they did hit us with the Cornet missile, which is an anti-tank missile. They were so proud of it, they put it on YouTube.
Wow, Captain Sneer, that looks pretty bad. Was everybody okay?
Well, more or less. I still got 2 soldiers at the hospital. Most of us were injured in the heat, including myself. But after 6 hours at the hospital, we got some medical treatment from great doctors, and we were back to the battlefield to finish the job.
This is Israel, right here. This is the beauty of Israel. Got treated and went back to the fight. We so appreciate you so much, Captain Sneer. We're so very proud to have you with us tonight. Congratulations to you and to your team on the Salash Award. God bless you. Thank you, sir. Let's go now back live via satellite to a field just outside kibbutz Ein Hashlosha, where we are so honored to be joined by the Southern Brigade Commander of the Gaza Division Corps, Colonel Dado Bar Khalifa. Colonel, welcome. We are so delighted to have you with us here tonight.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, and thank you so much for joining us, Dado. Let's start by asking you what you can tell us about the terror tunnels.
Monica, first, it's an honor to join you, and please call me Dado. Protecting the state of Israel is a 24/7 job, and for the friends of the IDF who did so much for us on my base Re'im, I would get up at any hour. Thank you for having me.
I hope, Dado, I hope you can hear this huge round of applause that's coming at you from the city of New York tonight. Dado, before we go any further, I want to commend you on your English. It's outstanding.
Oh, thank you so much. I've been in the States. I've been a liaison officer to the Marine Corps in the last 2 years in Quantico, Virginia.
Marine Corps! You're getting another huge round of applause from New York, and we all want to say Semper Fi. Dado, now looking back 8 months later, how would you assess Operation Protective Edge? Did you accomplish your objectives?
Look, we eliminated around 80% of their rockets and 32 offensive tunnels like this one. So there is no doubt that Hamas suffered a major setback. But there is also no doubt that Hamas doesn't want peace, and Hamas doesn't believe that Israel has the right to be here. As we speak, Hamas is rearming, retraining, and digging tunnels again. So realistically, we have to assume that they will attack again. Our goal is always to push back the next attack far as we can into the future. Hopefully, we accomplished that during the last operation.
Meanwhile, Dado, as one young mother put it, she said, "The thought that at any moment someone can jump out of a tunnel in my beautiful green kibbutz is the most frightening thing in the world." Can you share with us here tonight what the IDF is doing to defend the region and protect its citizens from such terrifying possibilities?
Monica, if I tell you, I would have to kill you. And the head of the intelligence who is next to you this night will have to kill me.
Oh no, we can't have that, Dado.
But seriously, what I can share and say is that we are developing the system necessary to find those tunnels, to explode them from beginning to end, and to eliminate the threat. We are also always developing amazing new technologies to stop our enemies, but ultimately, our security comes down to the character and courage of our brave, brave soldiers. I'm very glad that you have the opportunity tonight to hear some of their stories.
And so are we, Dado, and we thank you so much for your time tonight. God bless you, sir. Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you so much.
Well, during the 50 days the IDF spent in Gaza, there were many fierce battles, most notably in Sajaiya, in Rafah, and in Beit Hanun. Once a sleepy Arab farming community, Beit Hanun's strategic location in the northeastern-most tip of the Gaza Strip made it a preferred site for launching rockets at Israel. In fact, Beit Hanun's agricultural school, it turned out, had sprouted a bumper crop of Grad missiles. While that may have been a surprise to UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, it wasn't exactly a surprise to the soldiers of Nahal Company 931, or to its commander, Major Gilad, who was in that video showing the buried rocket launchers. We are so honored tonight that he joins us now live via satellite from the Israeli side of the Gaza border. Gilad, welcome.
Hi, Monica. It's great to be with you tonight.
Thank you so much for joining us here tonight, Gilad. 3 nights later, after your discoveries at the Agricultural College, you and your men were involved in a battle described in one Israeli newspaper with the headline, 17 Minutes of Hell. How do you help your soldiers who are, 19, 20 years old, so young? How do you help them prepare for something like that?
I think you can never be fully prepared for an event like my soldiers experienced. But as a commander, I think that one of the most important things I can show them and remind them is what they're fighting for. Actually, 80% of my soldiers were under attack, their homes. In fact, in the same morning of the battle we're about to speak on, my soldier got to receive packages full of snacks and even wine for Kiddush on Friday night. You know, to be in the battlefield in Gaza and to have some from so far away, knowing that people are care for you and pray for you, give you so much strength to continue your missions.
Absolutely, Gilad. Yes. You're getting a big round of applause here in New York for that. And we're so glad to hear it.
Thank you.
Gilad, now let's talk a little bit about the battle itself. Tell us what happened.
It was Friday night. We got a mission to get deeper inside of Beit Hanun in order to search the field. Unfortunately, we were ambushed by Hamas special unit called Nakhba, the Chosen. They first strike us with the anti-tank missiles. Imagine, huge explosion. 9 of my soldiers were severely wounded, and 2 of them actually were lying under a metal door, screaming in pain. I knew that the main achievement of Hamas is to kidnapping soldiers and to have them hostage. I told to myself, not going to happen on my watch.
Gilad, with so many of your men wounded and Hamas coming at you like that, how did you manage to stop them?
Firstly, I was able to throw 2 grenades at the squad who coming to take and kidnap one of my soldiers. Secondly, I took the radio and I told all the forces I need backup and I need them immediately. The first one who came was Avi Grenzweig. Avi was one of my best soldiers. Avi came to the scene. He saw me fighting with the terrorists. He also saw his friend Ori lying wounded on the floor. He took him on his back and put him to a back room safe from the fire. After this, Avi also came to continue to assist me fighting with the terrorists. Unfortunately, when he came back, he got a bullet in his neck and he died after a few minutes.
We're so sorry to hear that, Gilad. Tell us, with that experience, with another man down, what did you do next?
After a long 20 minutes of fighting, my company and me were able to push away the attackers and prevent them from kidnapping one of my soldiers. Actually, during the fire exchanges, I got a bullet in my leg and 15 shrapnels all over my body. I told Yaniv, my deputy, that now he should take over the company. He did it in a remarkable way. You know, you asked me before, how can I prepare my soldier to a mission like this? I can train him as much as I can, but eventually, I can't really know how any of them is going to focus in the battlefield. I think that the fact that in the end, we were able to prevent from the Hamas kidnappers taking one of my soldiers is thanks to the tremendous professionalism and courage that my soldier experienced. I think that is the reason why so many of them got the medals Salashim, and I'm so proud of each one of them.
Gilad, we just want you to know that we all thank God that you survived those 17 minutes of hell and so much more, and that you are able to tell your story to all of us here tonight. Please stay with us while we bring up one of the men who helped make sure that so many of you survived. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I give you Salash recipient Dr. Nir. Welcome, Dr. Nir. And since we have you with us here tonight, I thought I'd ask you a couple of questions about your experiences. How do you focus on saving lives when you yourself are under enemy siege?
Well, whenever you hear on the tactical radio or someone screams a doctor, you just switch your state of mind and you just focus on your mission to give the best medical aid you can to whenever the wounded, wherever they are, on any weather, inside and outside Israeli borders.
Is there, and if there is, can you describe to us what the secret is of the IDF Medical Corps successes?
I think the Medical Corps has three secrets. One is the state-of-the-art equipment. The other is manpower. We are all very well trained. We know our mission. The ratio of one doctor per company, meaning one doctor per 100 person, is the highest in the world. And the third one is Israel is a small country. Everyone knows everybody. So whenever there is wounded, we do everything we can to get them help.
When the Battle of Beit Hanun ended, what was the final casualty count?
Actually, it was a multi-casualty event of 23 injured personnel, out of which we were able to save 21. Unfortunately, the one you remember are the one you lost, not the one you saved. So one of them is Avi Greenswag, a good friend of ours.
Well, God bless you, Dr. Nir. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for all of your skill and your dedication. God bless you, sir. Well, as you heard, one of the two soldiers who unfortunately perished in the Battle of Beit Hanun was Avi Greenswag. And I give you now his immediate commander, Lieutenant Yaniv Hartman.
The first time that I saw Avi, I knew that he was special. He was always ready to take on more responsibilities and always coming up with new ideas. He was the best soldier in the company. That's why they put him in charge of radio communication, my radio man. A radio man is always by his commander's side. He was attached to my hip. Where I went, he went. I could ask for a better soldier and friend. Know Avi as I did, I know how much he loved his real twin, his sister in Bal.
Thank you, Yaniv. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before Avi was killed, I didn't know Yaniv or Gilad. All I knew their names because Avi wouldn't stop talking about them. He considered himself lucky to have them as a commanders. I now understand why. Not a week goes by in which Yaniv doesn't text my parents to see how they are doing, or that Gilad doesn't check in with all of us. That is how it works in our small country. We take care of one another. Growing up in Petach Tikva, we were just your Israeli average family. It was my Ima and Abba, Avi and me. Avi was the kind of active, mischievous brother who was always getting into trouble. Not serious trouble, more like the kind of trouble that will leave my parents shaking their hands and yet laughing at the same time. Because we were twins, our parents always made sure that we were placed in different classes so we could develop our own identities. Still, twins are twins. It's hard to explain. There is always someone there who understands you better than anyone else does. When you are serving in the army and your twin brother is fighting inside Gaza, you are very aware of the risks. I have to say that I was afraid of many things. I was afraid that my brother will be hurt, that he would lose friends, that he will be traumatized by what he saw or had to do. But I have to admit that during Operation Protective Edge, when my commander's phone rang in the middle of the night and woke both her and me up, and even when I heard her say my name and Avi's name out loud and then leave the room, I still never thought that something could happen to my twin brother. It just didn't seem possible that someone so strong, so full of life, so beloved by so many, could be gone just like that. It makes no sense at all. When you become a soldier in the IDF, you are taken to the Kotel HaMaaravi, where you pledge that you will do everything that is necessary to protect the state of Israel, even if it means that you will have to sacrifice your own life. In return, the IDF does everything it can to take care of you as a soldier and to help you be the best soldier that you can be. This doesn't mean just to become the best fighter. It also means to become the best person that you can be, a person who looks out not just for yourself, but also for the people in your unit, for all the people you meet in your daily life, even, believe it or not, for your enemy. And that was exactly who my brother Avi was. Answering the call from a unit taking heavy enemy fire, braving those flying bullets to reach a wounded soldier and carry him to safety, and then going back to rescue another, it's not just the way my brother died, it was also the way that he lived. He was always taking care of his family and of his friends. He was always there to help us and to protect us. How I wish that Avi could be here tonight, talking again with his beloved commanders Gilad and Yaniv. Like them, he would have wondered what all the fuss was about. After all, he would have said, I was just doing what was expected of me and of every soldier in the IDF. But, as always, Avi did more, much more, and he paid the supreme price. For that, Avi received the Tzalash, the IDF Citizen of Merit. My parents and I are very proud of Avi, but we did not want to become the center of attention. It's not who we are. So then, why am I here tonight? I have come to New York because I know that here I will be among friends. Nobody can fully understand what combat soldiers like Avi go through. But I know that you in this room understand better than most. I know because I am an education officer in the IDF. I see what you do day in and day out. I see how you make sure that our Chayalim Bodedim, our lone soldiers, get to go home and visit their families. I see it in all different education programs that you make possible. I see it in the gyms, the clubs, and those wonderful weeks of vacation that you provide to make life more livable for our soldiers. In many ways, the IDF and its soldiers would not be what they are today without you. I believe that with all my heart, and that is why I chose to come. I wanted to honor my brother by sharing his story with people who care about the soldiers of the IDF. Thank you.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence as we remember Avi Greenzweig, Zichrono Livracha, as well as all the young men and women who gave their lives to defend the state of Israel.
כשתמות משהו ממך בי, משהו ממך בי ימות איתך, ימות איתך, כי כולנו, כן כולנו, כולנו רקמה אנושית אחת חיה, ואם אחד מאיתנו הולך מימנו, משהו מת בנו, משהו נשאר איתו, נשאר איתו.
We would be pleased to send a complimentary DVD of this program to anyone who wishes to support JBS, the Jewish Broadcasting Service, with a tax-deductible gift of $36, double chai or more, to the nonprofit organization Jewish Education in Media. Simply visit the JBS homepage and click on the Donate button to make a donation by PayPal or your credit card. And please indicate the program for which you would like a DVD. Or you can send your tax-deductible check made out to Jim, Post Office Box 180, Riverdale Station, Bronx, New York 10471. And again, please remember to indicate which program you would like to receive with our compliments. And we thank you for your kind support.